you feel like maybe your best overall performance of the season?
Well, I thought we played pretty well. I compare it a little bit to the Wyoming game. I thought we played well against Wyoming, and Wyoming's a good football team. So we played well a couple times. Hopefully we can play well a couple more times.
Coach, were you surprised you struggled as much as you did running the ball Friday night?
A little bit, but not too much when you look at the film and you realize how many guys are committing to stopping the run. In order to do that, you isolate your receivers one-on-one out there, and our quarterback and receivers did a really nice job of throwing and catching it. So they forced us to throw it, and finally the new formation allowed us to get in those one-on-one situations where we won a bunch of those battles and won the game.
Rocky, a lot of talk this offseason about how the offense may look different, vastly different perhaps. Did you feel like this was kind of the culmination of what we talked a lot about in the offseason and what you'd been working towards?
Well, it is what we thought we could do in the new formations. When they stack the box and make it hard to run the ball, we thought we could do that, and obviously it hasn't been as successful as we had hoped up until this game. Now we could have scored maybe 3 more touchdowns if it wasn't for, like you said, a video replay and a fumble going in and those kind of things, and an interception right where we were down there ready to score. So the offense did a good job of taking what the defense gave them, and that's what we thought we could do in this formation. It just took us a long time to get it done.
Rocky, were you in the post-game press conference, and I did not see it, I only saw bits and pieces. Were you asked a ton of questions about why the offense looked so different Friday night?
Well, not so much on how it looked different. Obviously, we threw the ball a lot more than we normally do. We were very successful doing it. For the first time in a long time, a quarterback here threw for over 300 and something yards, so there was a lot of excitement about how the offense looked. Now, we didn't score as many points as we could have and should have, but there was a lot of talk about how the offense looked different.
And listen, again, a team that came in, and I saw some of Fresno State's earlier games this year against Minnesota, against USC, where they were putting up big points, and they were in those games. And I don't know if you feel this way or not, but I don't think enough has been made about the job your defense did, only allowing 7.
Well, that's pretty good, but I just get a little frustrated at times when you win a football game. It's the whole team that wins.
Sure.
We beat UNLV, and that was a tough game, but we blocked a punt, so the special teams had a lot to do with the victory. It's never one side of the ball that wins the game. It's all 3 parts of the football game that you have to at least to win 2 of the 3 in order to win a game. So I think people get excited about one side of the ball or the other, and they forget there's other guys out there.
Who deserves a mention that we may not be asking you about in this interview that we should be talking about in that win over Fresno State?
Well, I think that Ryan Agnew jumped back. I think people are talking about it, but I thought he didn't play very well the game before, and he had a great game in this last one. And when your quarterback plays well, you always have a better chance to win.
What about the player Jesse Matthews has become for you guys?
Well, to be quite honest, that's a shock to us. We watched him in high school, thought he was a pretty good player, and were really excited when he decided to walk on. But he's turned into our most dependable receiver. He's making big plays. He's going up against really good DBs. They kind of match their best DB against him, and he's still making plays. So he's a big surprise and a pleasant surprise.
Rocky, at 8-2, back in the top 25, you've played this the way I would assume if this were put in front of you before the season began, to be 8-2 and have a chance to simply take care of business by yourself. You got to do it in Hawaii. You'd sign up for the situation that you're in currently, right?
Yeah, if you'd have said this would be where we are preseason, we'd have been happy with it. Yep.
Tell me about Hawaii a little bit, the team that you will have to beat to get in the Mountain West Conference Championship game.
Well, they're a hurry-up offense that does nothing but have 4 and 5 wide receivers out there at a time. They don't have a tight end. They will run it if you give them a soft box or a short, numbers in there. They'll run it. They don't really want to run it. They want to throw it, and they want to throw it about every 15 to 19 seconds. They're running up and down the field. They have a completely different philosophy than we do. They want to outscore you. They don't care how many points you score as long as they score more. And so, and it's worked for them. Going into the game this season, I thought they were going to be one of the better teams in the league because they have an experienced quarterback and good receivers back. So it's going to be a tussle.
So I figure you fly out Wednesday, maybe take get a luau in, let the kids go see the volcanoes, and then go play a football game. Are you going out Friday?
Yeah, we go out Friday and we come home right after the game.
It's not the Pro Bowl, right, Costa? What's unique about playing in Hawaii, Rocky?
Well, the way we do it, nothing really. I mean, except that you're on a plane for about 6 hours, and that's like crossing the country. It's we went back and played West Point a few years back, and that seemed like forever to get there. And you kind of get worn out a little bit from the travel and all that, but it's not so bad, the game in Hawaii. The worst part is the game after you go to Hawaii, because you don't get home till 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and so your guys are tired, worn out. You're kind of missing half your preparation time for the next week. It takes you a long time to get over it. Other than they have a home field advantage, there's nothing really special about going over there. It's the game after you play over there.
The 6 hours to get there, how do you avoid guys being or feeling lethargic?
Well, I mean, we try to do it with walkthroughs. Since it's a night game, we go over the stadium the day of the game, and we go through a walkthrough. So they're in the locker room, they're on the field. I mean, it's nothing strenuous whatsoever, but they get a feel for that we're there for a game. So hopefully we'll be as excited as they are. Now, in Hawaii, they like football now. They like football over there, and since Hawaii has a chance to win the Western Division, and we do too, I expect a pretty good crowd, so there ought to be a lot of energy at the game.
And speaking of energy, I would assume the guys getting amped up and you sensing the excitement. Is it a situation where you don't try to temper their excitement? You just let the natural part of it build?
Well, I think our team, because they're so responsible, I think the stress of trying to be in the top 25, the stress of winning the conference championship, I think that got to us a little bit. And the last week we just talked about being good players, playing as hard as you can and making plays, and we played with more intensity, we played with a little more smile on our face, and obviously we had more success. So I hope they don't get the feeling that there's a lot of pressure on this game. And now we want to win, so do they. But you play football because you like to play football, and it's supposed to be fun. So hopefully they'll go into it with the right attitude, be excited about having the opportunity, and play as well as they can.
Rocky, before we let you go, that's got to be infuriating. When you went back and watched the film on the Parker Houston touchdown, there has to be irrefutable evidence to turn it over. How in the world did they take away a touchdown from you?
I have no idea. I mean, I watch the TV replays, and I can't see how they can call it an incomplete pass. In the game film, you can't tell at all. I mean, there's no telling if it hits the ground or not. But even on the TV replays, you can't tell. And that's what they're supposedly looking at. But they've done it to us 2 weeks in a row now, where we didn't think a call should have been made or a call should have been kept. I have no idea why they do it, and maybe that guy's trying to earn his paycheck.
Well, thank goodness in a call that bad, it didn't affect the outcome of the game. Congratulations on a dominant victory over Fresno State. We'll talk to you Wednesday during the Coaches Show, 6 p.m. Here on Xtra 1360, and best of luck against Hawaii, Rocky.
I appreciate it, guys. Have a good week.
Thanks, Coach. You too.